everyone, and welcome to the RV Inspection and Care podcast and video. I'm Dwayne. I'm a certified RV inspector, and today we're going to be talking about the top 5 dangers of full-time RVing. There's lots of YouTube channels out there that make full-time RVing seem like one big, long, fun vacation while you go from one beautiful spot in the country to another. Now, it's true that lots of fun can be had as a full-time RVer, but there are also real dangers that you need to know about. This video is going to cover what I consider to be the top 5 dangers of full-time RV living. Number 1 on the list is bad weather. Now, that can affect you no matter where you are and whether you're in an RV or not. But RVs are particularly susceptible to certain kinds of bad weather. For instance, high winds while you're traveling down the road. If you think about it, that RV is one big wall on the side that's like a billboard. And then if you have a wind come in from the side, it can start moving you around on the road. I've experienced that, and boy, that is no fun. So the recommendation is, if you start to get into high winds, slow down big time and even stop if it gets bad enough and wait for the winds to die down. Another situation that can be problematic is if you park among trees and a big storm comes up. I've seen tree limbs come off and go all the way through an RV. I have seen big limbs come down and destroy a towed vehicle. So my recommendation is this: get very familiar with the weather websites and channels and consult them regularly if you are a full-time RVer. That way you can know what's coming up in advance and be ready for it. Number 2 on the full-time danger list is fire. RVs are made with materials that burn easily and they can burn fast. So you need to be fire conscious. And that means prevent as many fires as you can. Keep that propane system in good order. Make sure there are no leaks. Check it regularly. I also highly recommend a safety device called Gas Stop. It attaches to your LP tank, and if there's a sudden loss of pressure in the LP line, it just shuts off the flow, and that's great. It seems that lots of fires begin around RV fridges, so keep them serviced well. Make sure the outside access area that you get to from the outside of the RV is kept clean so nothing can catch fire in there. If you have a blown fuse, be sure that you replace it with the right fuse. If you don't, you can start an electrical fire in there, so be careful about that. Fire extinguishers are a very good safety device. Make sure they are up to date. And if you have a long RV, have more than one. Have as many as you would like to keep one handy to you no matter where you are in the RV. And have an up-to-date LP detector that actually works, and you can verify that. Third on the RV dangers list is road accidents. Now, an accident in an RV can cause a lot of damage or even totally destroy your RV, but more than that, it can cause injury and even death. So it's easy to lose control of RVs. We know that. Because remember, we were talking about that situation where winds can come up and start moving an RV around on the road. Well, there's lots of videos on YouTube that show that kind of thing where the driver just loses control and things really result in a big crash. But motorhomes can also have their issues. They can have tire blowouts on that front end, a sudden loss of tire pressure, and lose control that way. So here's the recommendations I have for keeping things safe on the road. Travel at a safe speed. And that means keeping plenty of room between you and the vehicle in front of you. So if anything happens, you've got room to be able to handle the situation safely. I also recommend a steering stabilizer bar. Now, these are not going to resolve all issues with steering, but they are a big help in these emergency situations. If it's a tire blowout, know how to handle that. There's ways of dealing with it that can keep you safe. I made a video about that, so I highly recommend that you look into that, watch the video, and be prepared. I also think you need to have a tire pressure monitoring system these days traveling down the road. That way you can monitor not only the tire pressure, the changes that are happening, but also the temperature in those tires. Oftentimes, tires are sending you a message before they actually blow out. So it's a good way to be prepared. Now, the final recommendation is don't go over the weight limits for your RV or for your tow vehicle. This is very common. A lot of people do that, but you will keep things under a lot better control if your weight is not exceeded for either of those things. Now let's move on to number 4 on the dangers list. That's the carbon monoxide poisoning possibility. Carbon monoxide is a silent, odorless killer that's caused by burning fuels. And since RVs are a little small space, it becomes problematic very easily. We burn fuels in our stove, our furnace, our generator, if it's a motorhome, even just the exhaust system of that. So it's important to have an installed CO detector in your RV, but also have one that you know works like it should. And inspect your motorhome exhaust system regularly. If there are holes developing, then get it repaired or replaced right away. And make sure that any generator exhaust is not coming into the living area. This is real important. All right, next on the danger list of full-time RVing is theft. Lots of RVs and RV equipment are stolen every single year. So when you're away from the RV, there is a lock on the RV door, so be sure to use it. If you have expensive equipment that you take along with you, then use it when you need to, but store it back away and lock it. You don't want that kind of equipment sitting out where people can see it and thieves get an idea to steal it. And at night, it's a good practice to have some lights outside your RV. We like to use string lights that go all the way around the RV because thieves don't like lights. They would prefer to do what they do in the absolute dark. If you have items like a water softener or a portable generator, well then chain them to something permanent and lock them down. That doesn't mean they can't be stolen, but it makes it much more difficult to do that. And use a hitch lock if you have a travel trailer or a fifth wheel towable. That way they can't just back up, hitch up, and take off with your RV. So those are the top 5 dangers of full-time RV living I wanted to share with you. I'm not trying to scare anyone away from full-timing. We have thoroughly enjoyed our full-time travels. But you also need to be realistic, and it's a good idea to be prepared for the challenges that full-timers do face on the road. Hopefully this list in this video is a good starting point to help you not only enjoy your RV travels, but be ready for possible dangers as well. And that's it for now. Have safe and happy travels, my friends. Until next time.